Welcome to Quick Take. I'm your host, Susie Tomachuk, along with my co-host, James, my second guy in command. I'm number one, you're number two. There you go.
I'm speechless. There's so many things to say here, but we have an amazing guest today, and so I wanted to keep it PG-13.
Tell us about our guest, James.
We're excited. As part of our series of learning from leaders, we have today with us Mike Bush, who's the head of technology at the Colorado Rockies, an amazing baseball team here in Colorado. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. It's great to be here, James. I've known you a long time, and I've always known you're full of number two. So I think that's all great. So
this is going to go well, I can tell.
Yeah, I knew that number two joke was hanging out there for us all. That was an easy pitch to the baseball guy.
Yeah, let me knock it out of the park. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's really good. So, but yeah, thanks for having me. This is super great. I've been a Quickster for a long time, so it's good. It's nice to get to finally realize the dream come true and be on with you guys.
Well, we're just super happy to have you here. And so, we were going to talk about some of your experiences as a leader and the things that you feel are important to for your success at the Rockies. Can you just maybe tell us a little bit about how you got to where you are today, and before we jump in?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm actually a recovering accountant. I was an accountant for about 7 years. I have a CPA and an MBA, and then decided, who's a bunch of cooler people than accountants? Oh, tech guys. I want to go do that. So it's been about 25 years ago now. I got into tech. I came in as a quality assurance at a company called FRX that was financial reporting software, who got bought by Great Plains, who got bought by Microsoft. So I ended up in development for Microsoft for about 10 years. And then I led up a little startup company for about 6 years. And then the opportunity at the Rockies came about, and sort of a friend of a friend knew the hiring manager, and the hiring manager was, said, "Hey, do I know anybody?" And I was like, "Well, I'm a software guy. This is a hardware and networking job." I said, "Give me the job description. I'll see if I know anybody." And so he gave it to me, and I was like, "Hey, leadership, this, strategic thinking, that, budget, P&L."
Yeah.
I'm like, I love it.
I can do that. I threw my hat in the ring, and then a little bit later, that magic happened. It's been almost 8 years now, and I was a baseball guy my whole life, and especially in '93 when we got the Rockies here. So it really was a dream come true for me, and it's really my dream job, combining two of my passions, baseball and technology. I mean, I couldn't be happier.
It is amazing, and I'm often talking to people about you and your role, and so many people think about what a dream job that is, to work for a professional sports team, and you do, not only do you're responsible for some really cool stuff over there, working with MLB, which is really a great organization, and the technology that they're really leaning into. But I also know that your team loves working for you. You have a very great organization underneath you, widely respected, and I think that some of the things that you're doing over there are worth talking about. And so I was hoping you could share our patented 1, 2, 3 system here. Patent pending, I think, actually. Paperwork is still
I'm glad you're clear on that.
Yeah, I don't need any lawsuits.
Don't get us in trouble.
Right after Quickster. Quickster's 1, 2, 3.
That's right. Oh, we got that one. Yeah, I think we're good on that one. But a few items that maybe that you'd like to share about how you have been successful in your role.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to brag on my own team for a minute, just because they really are great. We're responsible for all the networking, information security, telephones, like internet, all the cloud apps, everything technical for the Colorado Rockies, which includes Coors Field. It includes Salt River Fields, our spring training facility. We have a Dominican Academy, and we are also now responsible for technology at McGregor Square, which is the multi-use development next door to Coors Field.
Wow.
And we do that all with 6 people. So it's an
Jeez.
amazing amount of work. And,
Yeah.
you want to talk about just the ability to get it done when it needs to get done. Especially right now, it's the time of year. Opening day is upon us, and that's for all the people who aren't in Denver that listen to you. It could be a local holiday. We're going to have 300,000 people downtown. There's going to be 50,000 at the game. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. I'm going to have the biggest, coldest beer you've ever seen after it's all over, and it's it's a good time for everybody. But I'm super proud of my team. There's not one of them that we could do it without, and it's really an honor to be able, especially because I came in, I was inserted as the leader of a team that was already there. Now we've had a little turnover. One person retired, and we were able to replace one other. But it's just an honor to be able to have a high performing team being inserted sort of at the top, quote unquote. Even though I don't really see myself that way, but that's a huge honor for me.
Well, what a remit too. I mean, you just much more than perhaps people think, and I guess every club has its own span of control at that level and how much they manage. So that's impressive. I didn't realize you did McGregor Square. That's just a lot of really impressive stuff. So let's jump in and why don't you give us one of the things that you think is really key to keeping that amazing team amazing.
Yeah. So, I want to harken back to some other great episodes you guys did earlier, and I'm going to call this back to basics because I think that my 1, 2, 3 that I have are things that we all know, but things that we're all inclined to forget. So, so I'll start out with number 1, and it's just so simple, and it's take blame and give credit, right? So you need to really celebrate victories of your team and celebrate it within the organization. Not in a braggy way, because people get sick of that, right? But if there's something that needs to be shared, share it. And then when something gets screwed up, you got to turn your back and take those arrows for your team. You got to just be able to have enough confidence in your own leadership ability to be able to just be able to take those arrows. And the most important thing about that is you have to make it a safe place for people to try things. It just has to be because what that's going to do, it's going to foster innovation, and especially in the tech world, right? We always need to be on the bleeding edge, and if people are allowed that freedom to go try something new or to try something in a different way. And, it's especially important for us because, we've been around 30 years and I would say, we're sort of let other people try it first type of an organization, and we'll bring it in and once it's sort of proven, especially in a baseball world. And if we can start getting out front in some of that, in front of some of that stuff, it's great. And I like when my guys bring that stuff to me because it just helps them think outside the box. God, I'm just full of cliches, aren't I?
And they're not too many baseball cliches either. So you're although that outside the box, that's definitely possible.
It could be. Yeah. Batter's box. That's right. Yeah.
So and just to comment on, I like that it's so good. One thing you did at the very beginning when you kind of framed what your group is responsible for, it's so good as a leader for people to understand that kind of bigger picture, broader picture, and to be proud of that, because that helps them connect the dots for them. And so also when you talked about really celebrating some of the successes as leaders, we have to have an ego. James and I have talked about this too, have an ego, but you have to be really careful to keep that in check and be able to understand that when something bad does happen, take a breath, so that you can make sure, because it's sometimes easier to say, let them make mistakes. You
Hmm.
got to like give yourself a moment to like allow it to happen so you don't react, because we also want to fix things too. So I love that one.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's key. That's really that whole nature of taking credit or giving credit and taking blame. You create a safe space. I think
Hmm.
that's really the bottom line there, and I think that's super important.
Yeah, and just Susie, to go back to a point that you were making, like just to extend on it, so and where I met James is part of a local CIO group, right? And I hosted an event at Coors Field in November, and I was racking my brain, what can I do that would be interesting for this group? And then I just decided, I asked all my people to stay late. They all agreed to, and we just had a Q&A with them, and I got such
Nice.
hugely positive feedback from our CIO peers that it was just amazing. Just to see how tight we are and the camaraderie, and just,
That's so
to
great.
explain in detail all the work that we do. And it was so nice to give them the opportunity to shine in front of this
Yeah.
particular group. It was really, really great. It was a huge success. It was a win-win for sure.
No, it was a
Yeah.
a great event, and yeah, just allowing them to speak about what they do. The pride came through
Mm.
so strong, and that was amazing. Um, so let's jump to number two. What's the second item that you got?
Yeah, yeah. And God, again, it's just so simple. I'm almost embarrassed, but it's just do what you say you're going to do, right? And I know,
Hmm.
Yeah,
I'm an avid Quickster, I have to admit. So I know that you guys talk about this in different flavors quite often, and
Hmm.
I'm just going to
mm,
Yep.
echo it because it's just so valuable, and it's something that so many people forget. And
Hmm.
for me, it's not even. Uh, I always intend to do what I say I'm going to do, but with the pressures that we have, sort of leading the group, um, uh, the thing that I always felt myself doing, or caught myself doing, was just forgetting, and then
Hmm.
that makes whoever you said you're going to do feel very unimportant, right? So
Yeah.
the thing that I've done quite recently, thanks to another one of our friends, James Dolores, come up with an accountability system for yourself.
Hmm.
And
mm.
I'm great at writing stuff down and writing to-dos and things like that. And she gave me the best tip, and it was great. And it is, when you write stuff down, if you put something in a square, the things that you have to follow up on, and things in a circle that other people have to follow up on, and then just cross it out whenever you're done, it's like, I mean, I still forget stuff, but at a lot less frequency than I used to, right? So,
Right, right.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
I
just coming up with that accountability system has been huge for me.
Yeah. So, and you're right. We do talk about trust when you do what you say you're going to do, and people look for leaders that instill trust in them. And to your point too, if you that accountability system is so important, because if you're not able to do what you said you're going to do for whatever reason, closing the loop is also as
Just
worthy.
as important.
Yeah,
Right,
Yeah.
yeah,
right, right. That's the
yep.
second time this week, actually, Suzu. We've heard you and I have talked about somebody having a notebook or
Yeah.
a system that they track everything. I think you were working with somebody whose the leadership team also
Yeah.
had a book. What was that? Remind me what
Yeah,
that
a
story was?
leadership notebook. A very senior person
Mm.
said he keeps a leadership notebook that he goes back to on a regular basis, monthly, and rereads some of the things about what he wanted to remember. So having that is, I think, really powerful.
Yeah,
Great
I
stuff. All right,
I
what?
oh, sorry. I was just gonna say,
No, yeah, I want to hear it.
through that CIO group too. I have the opportunity to mentor a couple guys. So Bobby and Swami, they actually are Quicksters as well now, because one of my guys actually just got a promotion to CTO, and you guys just happened to do an episode on the great three things to do after you get your big promotion, and so it was
Yeah,
perfect
yeah.
timing for him. So That was awesome.
Love
But
it.
as part of that, we're doing a book club with a book called The Leadership Challenge, and
Hmm.
I've read it 4 or 5 times now, and anytime I get an opportunity to mentor somebody, that's the book I go to because it's just at the heart
Yeah.
of what I want to be as a leader. So
Hmm.
that's it.
Yeah, I know that you've quoted that book to me a number of times, and I do think it's a classic, and it's kind of going like you were mentioning, going back to basics, right?
Yeah.
I love the fact that we as humans can hear something 5 times, and that sixth time it hits you right between the eyes,
Hmm.
and so you know, be forever curious and always learning, and be open to hearing that stuff. It goes a long way.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear your third item.
The third one, again, maybe it's not so basic, especially if you're more of an introvert, but I'm not, so I don't get it. But it's just it's just leverage personal relationships, and
Hmm.
I'm not just saying that, just like for people on your team and people that are working for you, but you got to do it with peers. You've got to leverage your personal relationships up. It's just so important to have that other connection with people. And I'm not saying be unprofessional, right? But
No,
if you ask long enough, you're going to find something in common with somebody that every time you see them from now on, you can at least talk about that one thing, and then that's always going to break
sure.
the ice with that person. And um, you know, uh, I finally got my head out and started doing that in professional settings too. So like our CIO groups and the different conferences I go to and things like that.
Hmm.
I always make it a point to just like find out as much I can about people that I've never met before, and it's just
Hmm.
so exciting, and that energizes me, right? And that's part of whenever you're talking about the Myers-Briggs type indicator, I scored 100% on an extrovert, so take that for what it's
Yeah.
worth. But I just
Not
get my
surprised.
I just get my energy from meeting people and knowing people, and then being able to refer back and remember. I mean, but the thing that stinks about me on that respect is that I'm the worst with names. So I'll be like, "Oh, you're the person that hit 800 in that
Yeah.
softball league. How are you doing, buddy?" Like, so if you can give me 1, 2, 3 tips on remember people's names, that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I don't have any of those tips whatsoever.
So
I do have to I have to comment here because I listened to a great podcast Tim Ferriss did, and there was a guy on it that was just talking about connection and relationships, and he did this thing where he wrote down all the good things that have happened to him in his life, and it was a very long
mm,
list. And what he discovered about it was all connected to people he knew. And
Hmm.
so now,
oh,
get this, he challenges himself to connect with 1,000 people every quarter.
wow, a
Oh my
thousand?
goodness.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Wow.
But
I'm not
just
that big
think
of an
about those,
extrovert.
No
but
kidding.
the connection, his point is that we need to invest in each other, and
Sure.
even just that connection, you don't even know why, but you could be giving and also getting. It goes both ways. So I love that advice. I think that is
Yeah,
so core to why we're here as leaders, is to help others.
Yeah,
definitely.
I agree with what you're saying. I want to pivot just slightly off of the energy part and the extrovert part, because there are people that don't naturally want to do that. That you might as well have said, "Please eat several spiders" to our listeners when you said
Yep.
interact with 1,000 people a day, because that is very difficult in some cases. But what I want to highlight is, as you were telling that story, is I remember talking to somebody who had just been promoted underneath me, and they said, "I'm going to do the job, but I'm not going to play politics."
Mm,
And my response to them was, "I'm sorry, politics is the job."
Mm,
yeah, for sure.
And now at some level, what those connections, your advice is fantastic. Leverage those relationships, but at a senior level, the relationships they are the job, right?
Totally.
Because if we all were just standing in our own little silos and doing the job and everything got done, that's a different kind of that's
Hmm.
this goes back to this is a coincidence. I apologize, frankly, that there's this football versus baseball, right? Football players do one thing. No matter where the football is, they do it. baseball players have to respond as a team to what is happening. And so as leaders, it's more jazz than it is an orchestra, a symphony. And so I think relationships are the lubricant that makes that happen. And I think that those people that choose not to take advantage of that and realize how important it is are just simply not as successful.
Yeah, and I just to sort of tell a story about sort of the outcomes of that, sort of a success story for my team, and that is 2 years ago, 3 years ago now. Sheesh. I don't know if you remember, but the All-Star game came to Denver, and it was sort of a surprise. Usually, you get 2 years to plan for it. We had 13 weeks, so we had to really pull together and leverage all of those relationships as a team within each other, but also within our vendors and with our MLB community. And luckily, we have those relationships with those people, with all these people we needed to rely on to pull that off. Now that was, 28 straight days of 10-hour days, but and I got all reflective on it, which is it's might be silly, but it was the first major national event coming out of COVID. So, and we pulled it off, and my team pulled it off. And
That's
and
cool.
we, so I was like, I had a little tiny part of bringing America out of COVID, and that
That's
was just
cool.
really great. But the biggest compliment out of all of that was after it was over, the CISO for MLB, Neil Boland, he came to me and said, when he heard they were moving the All-Star game to a different team, he said there's one of two teams that knew that could pull it off, and mine was one.
Nice.
So just because he knows my people, it
That's
was awesome.
great. That's so great.
That's a great story, and that was an amazing thing. I remember that was it was a light switch. It's coming here. Get ready.
Here it was.
That was amazing. And you're absolutely right. I do remember that game. I do remember feeling that it was, the path towards normalcy, and it was a great feeling that we had that here in Colorado as well. So I think that feeling you have about what that brought to everybody, I think is well earned.
All right, James, do it. What are the three? Can you remember?
All right, let me see if I get this right. So the three keys to becoming an amazing leader by our friend here, Mr. Bush, would be one, take blame or give credit and take the blame, right?
There you
Did I
go.
get that right? Get that?
Wow,
This is
thank
key.
goodness.
These are pivot. Right. Give credit, take blame. Second one is, do what you say you're going to do. Create that trust. Be consistent with your folks. And then 3, leverage relationships. Know that what got you here is probably based on the people that you work with, and take advantage of that, and lean on each other so you can be better. Those are 3 great items, really good ones.
You hit them out of the park. No strikes there. Nice. See what I did there?
Yeah,
You're
that was
welcome.
pretty good. Yeah. I'm damn impressed.
I know you are.
It's amazing.
Hey, Mike, thank you so much. This was great wisdom, and it was just really fun to hear your insights and context to leadership.
It was my
thanks
pleasure.
for being here, Mike.
Thank you for the invite. This was even better than I expected.
Well, that's great.
Hey, thanks for joining us. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.